Welcome to the 2024 PDGA United States Amateur Disc Golf Championship. From the historic Toboggan course in Milford, Michigan, this PDGA Major brought to you in part by Discraft and coverage provided by our friends at Gatekeeper Media. Grant Zellner and Nathan Queen with final round coverage of this exciting and yet seemingly so quick 3-round major.
Yeah, these young amateur players fighting for a title that can really change the course of their careers or start their career as a pro player. We've seen it from past champions like Anthony Barella and Kyle Klein, Lucas Carmichael, Ryan Monn, Ross Kimbrell, and Ethan Owens. Gonna have the best chance here, as that's who we're watching on lead card today.
So the first 516 feet, the downhill par 3. We've seen some shots go awry starting off some rounds. We've seen some pretty incredible gems.
Welcome to the 2024 United States Amateur Disc Golf Championships. This is the final round, lead card. First up, your leader from Greeley, Colorado, currently at 10 under par, Lucas Carmichael.
Lucas Carmichael here, consistent through 2 rounds, 5 down, 5 down.
And finds OB short.
Jacksonville, South Carolina, currently at 7 under par, Ryan Monn.
Ryan Monn here, seeing him all 3 rounds on the feature card first round, and then 5 down that round got him on lead card second round. And as we've seen on hole 1, you really just want to get inbounds and get your 3. Not many birdies on the weekend, really. And Ryan Monn, definitely not much aggression there.
From Fort Wayne, Indiana, currently at 6 under par, Ross Kimbrell.
Our first look at Ross Kimbrell.
Yeah, lefty. Unless he's tricking me and he just held it with his left hand. Some people do that.
That is true. I don't think he's tricking you, though. He looks like he's lining up a big sweeping backhand.
Yeah, and this has some good height on it to push right if there's enough wind. And indeed it does. Circle's edge.
Rounding out our lead card from Loveland, Ohio, currently at 6 under par, Ethan Owens.
Also our first look at Ethan Owens.
Going to be going with that forehand as well. A decent amount of power on this, but with that hyzer angle the whole way. No, not really a play to get there, just trying to be inbounds and get the 3.
So here we are down on the flat with Ryan.
Game plan executed. He's going to have his par there. Ethan to follow that up, and maybe a bit of nerve there.
Lucas. I'm going to drop one here.
Yeah, and Ross Kimbrell from just outside the circle, going to hit high. I like the commitment on that.
We've seen the first play pretty tough, really, all weekend long. including several situations where a player started with a bogey on one and ended up shooting a pretty great round. We'll see how things go today.
Yeah, a couple bogeys here on hole 1 on our lead card, and that's pretty close to average for the hole, as it was a 3.6 on the day. Brings us to hole 2, this 680-foot par 4 going back up the hill we just came down. Again, as much distance as you can off of the tee. There's a slightly flatter spot if you get 400 plus or so. It's going to increase your chances of making it to the top of the hill on the second shot.
Ryan Monn first to throw.
And he's got his line and release down on this hole. It seems like we've seen that same flight all 3 rounds now.
Ross likes it. So does everybody else. You can see why.
Yeah, comes up just short of that slight decrease in slope. Lucas Carmichael trying to bounce back. Not necessarily out of position over there. Footing going to be a little more difficult, though.
And Ethan Owens doesn't get the turn on this one.
Pretty early and well out of position now. Going to be looking to get as far as he can up there for par, and bites off a pretty good chunk.
To Ryan Monn. Low but safe.
Yeah, such a difficult shot to execute. You saw him try that little sideways run up again a little bit. As you see Ross here, kind of the opposite of what we saw from Ryan. A little too much nose up. Floats out early, but still makes it to the top of the hill. Should have a circle 2 look.
Lucas Carmichael gets to the flat. Nobody with a great look yet. Some with some work to do, starting with Ian. Pretty good second shot puts him here for his third.
And that's some nervy work left. After a bogey to start, he's now got a circle's edge for par on hole 2.
Monn up and around, and now to Ross.
Ooh, just high on the first hole and just low on the second. Seems like he's starting to dial it in. We'll see if it starts to drop.
A little bit short, and we are still waiting for our first birdie of the day.
And there is Ethan's first par of the day. Great scramble there to get up and down for the par after that pretty early release drive.
Ryan Monn steady. Par start.
Yeah, those 26, 27 footers can be a little nervy early on in the round, especially in such an important final round like this one is. Pretty solid on the green for Ryan, and Ross able to connect on his as well. Man, can you imagine if Riven was back on the card again today?
That would be a challenge for sure, as is the third, 915 feet of downhill par 4, OB up the left, and this big jutting area of OB short and right of the basket.
Yeah, pretty difficult par 4 as far as nose angles go, but we've seen some great tee shots so far. And it looks like Ryan Monn has another good tee shot off here.
Nice little kick there off the berm. Down to a flat lie. Ross Kimbrell now.
I'm excited to watch some lefty lines today. This one's got just a little bit too much turn on it. I think he may have rolled back in bounds there.
It looked like the spotters were even unsure, and we cut away before we could see their result. Meanwhile,
wow.
This is a great tee shot.
Look at the late drift on this disc, and he just absolutely crushes it. Almost makes it all the way to that OB cutout up there.
Ethan Owens over there to the right was hoping to punch through, did not. Down to this point, throwing 3.
Yeah, and this is where this hole really gets difficult. Bogey at best from way up there where he's at. Done the first part. Now he needs to drop his 4th in closely.
Ross Kimbrell.
So is inbounds over there on the left side. And gonna get up there to right around circle's edge for a birdie look.
Ryan Monn.
And this looks pretty well executed. Needs to get back left. Does get a nice little skip. He's going to be inside circle 1 looking for a birdie.
Ethan Owens trusting the forehand. As is Lucas Carmichael.
Just after a smash of a drive, able to take advantage of that, puts himself just outside the bullseye. And 3rd hole in a row now, Ross Kimbrell has the circle 2 look.
Close.
Yeah, still right on line. Get that dialed in as Ryan Monn able to card our first birdie of the round today.
Oh, boy.
And that birdie is going to turn into gaining another stroke on the leader here. Already within 1 just after 3 holes. Well executed bogey after the errant tee shot there from Ethan. We'll tap in another par.
We're through 54 holes.
It is going to be an exciting championship Sunday.
Evelina with what might have been the single best drive in the division.
Evelina has been so good at throwing those direct lines.
2024 PDGA Champions Cup presented by Bushnell winner, Evelina Zellner.
So hole number 4, 580 feet. This par 4 starts down in the flat, rotates around a bit to the left, and then you've got this grove of trees to deal with before a steep uphill finish.
Yeah, one of the cooler greens on the hole. I talked about it the first round, how I really like the transition of this green to the next hole going into the woods, as this gets packed down a lot. Maybe some gusts going on out here. As Ryan gets packed down into the rough on the right, well out of position. Yeah.
It is very interesting watching a lefty attack this course after seeing 2 cards of right-handed players for 2 straight days.
Yeah, so the first round I did bring up, there's a little forehand line here. We just saw that lefty backhand line really sets you up well, has a better chance to get you away from those low-hanging branches.
Lucas Carmichael, great drive there. Enough into that grove to eliminate some of the ceiling issues we've seen players deal with. And now Ethan Owens.
Yeah, right idea. Just need a little more height on it to get over those trees. I believe that was Ryan able to get pretty far up there. Should be able to get up and down for the par now.
Similarly, Ethan Owens in a good place to get up and down.
Just a beautiful spot to be for Lucas Carmichael. Little bit too much heat on that forehand. Looked very smooth, but even catching a branch going to go a little bit long. He'll still have a look for birdie. As we see a righty forehand now from our lefty on the card. All right. He's not the first. He's not the first I've seen do that, certainly. Another righty forehand, but from the righty Ryan Monn.
It will be an interesting day. Putting left-handed. Here's Ross Kimbrell and gets one to fall.
All right, first circle one looking, first conversion now. Ross Kimbrell 1 under par.
Lucas Carmichael, a birdie. Back to even on the day.
Nice par from Ethan there as well. Able to get up and down after hitting that first early tree into hole 5, 480 feet downhill. Probably the longest tunnel shot I think that you have on this course, where you're just in the woods the entire way. Beautifully grown grass as the sun shines through across this fairway. We get to see the lefty up first.
Little cut roll there off into the right. You can get up and down from over there on the right side. The angle's pretty good.
And a little
Lucas Carmichael.
early. Gonna fall down well early in the middle of the fairway, but did fall down in the middle. Should give him at least a shot at getting up and down for par.
Ryan Monn, airborne. What a redirect that was.
It's what everybody can use some tree love every now and then.
Ethan Owens. Little slip it looked like there, but the disc doesn't know it.
Man, that was a beautiful flight of that disc. Got the late stand up, but going to catch that last guardian tree. I believe that tree's about 60 to 70 feet away. It's a pretty well executed shot there from Lucas Carmichael to give himself a shot at par.
Ross Kimbrell a little bit offline there. Now a lot of work to do. Ethan Owens, the best look of the bunch.
Oh, just a bit low. Right on line, and again we're seeing this breeze pick up through here. Seems like Ryan thought he had that one.
The 5. The 5-hole, a little trouble.
Yeah, but not for Lucas now. Able to connect after a really nice second shot. Hits a nice circle's edge putt. The lefty giving his birdie back. So just a little bit of trouble here on hole 5.
To the 6th, 519 feet, this par 4. Sort of a placement shot for most, that is, off of the tee pad due to an early kink in the fairway. Then a lot of winding travels all the way up to this uphill basket.
Yeah, an interesting tee shot here. It wants to feel like placement is really paramount, but then you can get so aggressive like you see Lucas get here and get far enough where it doesn't really matter if you're going to get a place or not. You should be able to get up and down.
And we have indeed seen some birdies come from players that got a lot of distance and typically finish off to the right.
And just slightly too far left on that. I think it needed to drag off to the right just a bit quicker. This is going to be fading out early and end up over on that left side. Now this is a play that I am familiar with. Not trying to bite too much off at all, and he has done it perfectly. Just got around that inside tree on the right side. Puts himself up nicely for another little flex shot up to the green.
Ryan Monn straddling out and getting a lot on this.
Wow. Beautiful recovery shot's going to give himself a long look for the birdie.
To Ethan Owens. Goes from the left to the right.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of those few times you're kind of asking yourself, why didn't that hit a tree? I think at some point that could have hit something and ended up a lot closer. And here is that shot from Ross Kimbrell. Man, he's trying to ring it up for the eagle. It's going to end up costing him a bit, as unlikely he'll be able to card the birdie from down there.
We look down at Ethan Owens playing back up the hill. He had gone from the left to the right, and now that gives him a nice little drop-in par.
More smart play there from Ryan Monn, not getting too aggressive.
Now to Kimbrell.
And I don't know I've ever seen anybody throw from there.
Went to the right-handed forehand again, too.
Right. I didn't even catch it that time. But he did indeed. I can't attest to it personally because my forehand does not have touch. If you can even say I have a forehand, but I do hear that it's pretty easy to learn a touch forehand. So I think just watching, as a lefty, watching a lot of people throw right-handed, it's a little easier to emulate that sometimes, even if it's not your dominant hand.
Nobody is immune to a course like Northwood Black.
Just throwing laser beams.
That's so good.
Resnell, the birdie, the fist pump.
Critical shot.
Gotta get up. Bresnell.
That is a shot of a champion.
Your 2024 Champions Cup winner, Andrew Bresnell!
The seventh is a 667-foot par 4 over a valley, up a steep hill and a narrow fairway to this basket location. We've seen some fireworks at this hole so far this week.
Yeah, some pretty natural OB on the left and right side. Lucas Carmichael leaking towards that natural OB, but gets a nice kick down. Going to keep him on the edge. Still kind of a funny angle. I think flex forehand may be the best way to go.
Ryan Monn, this looks good. Just needs to finish for him. Beautiful.
Yeah, looks well executed. Up to the top of the hill.
A little sharper angle on this for Ethan Owens. Needs it to hold.
Yeah, may have spiked right there on the edge. We'll see what type of angle he has, if any. And a beautiful lefty hyzer flip shot here from Ross Kimbrell, able to get well into position.
Owens did spike instead of drifting into the woods. Able to get around that last little corner for an uphill look at the basket.
So Ryan stopped in a great spot after his drive, and a little bit of unfortunate ground play. Usually you see some discs skip forward off of this grass, but either way, he's going to have himself a birdie look.
Great shot there from Lucas Carmichael. Recall he put it in from not too far from that same spot yesterday for the deuce.
Yeah, and lost the disc immediately afterwards, as that was not
That is true.
that was not the same one that he threw in yesterday. Ross Kimbrell able to take advantage of that great tee shot with a great upshot.
A little bit of wind filtering up these fairways now. No problem, though, for Ryan Monn.
Yeah, and if he's thinking about it, which it's, you never know if somebody is or not, but that could be a big pressure putt with Lucas closer than him trying to chase him down. That was to keep pace in his mind. So 3 birdies and a par, gonna round out our 7th, and we'll head to the 8th.
Everybody with a little bit of momentum here, and you need it when you step up to the 8th. A very narrow gap to start off this 500-foot par 4. Things open up just a bit. Sweeping uphill and back around to the right for this basket location, but you've got to handle that gap first to have any chance at a second shot that'll give you a birdie look.
Yep, Lucas Carmichael handled that gap, got to the top of the hill. Ideally, you'd like to be a little bit farther left, but gonna be in position. I think best way to attack from there is gonna be righty backhand turnover.
Little bit lower there for Ryan Monn. He'll be on the hillside.
Yeah, a little farther back and a little more to the left. Makes the sidearm a little more accessible. Ross going to be in a similar spot there.
Well, the gap was hit, so we're through for the entire group. Ross Kimbrell throwing first.
Yeah, such a steep angle here. Probably need 400 plus feet of power to get it all the way up to the basket, and that's well executed. Gets around the corner up into circle 2.
Everybody, it seems, from the same lie.
And Ryan, close to getting that right, needed just a little bit more glide or fade on that disc to get some glide. As Ethan just a little bit farther up. Helicopter down.
Finally, Lucas Carmichael way up into the sky.
And there we go. That one had the power on it to drift over. Catches some late branches, but still going to be inside circle 1. Ethan looking for his first birdie. Going to have to wait till the next for another chance.
Little stepper from Ryan, a little bit off, but not for Ross.
Yeah, finally getting that circle 2 putt dialed in. We've seen him hit metal on every other circle 2 putt so far. Gonna go back-to-back birdies now, as well as Lucas Carmichael connecting back-to-back.
It really feels like we found a little momentum as we come to the 9th, nearing the halfway mark of this final round. A 472-foot par 3.
Yeah, with Beaver State fleeing going on this weekend, the 9th out there this weekend is the dream hole, and a similar tee pad here looking down. So we'll call this Toboggan's dream.
I like it. Lucas safe. What a bounce.
Yeah, this disc is dancing in the air. Gets a lift, bounces back down. Gonna wind up right around circle's edge. Take a look at this disc fly again.
Wow. Fun to watch.
Yeah, beautifully executed. Always like watching a lefty throw.
Well, yeah. It's Ryan Monn.
Shots like that. Ryan getting some of that dancing as well, adding some extra dance at the end of that flight. Gonna wind up probably just outside of circle 1.
And Ethan sans hoodie. He's warmed up now.
Yeah, and just a little bit too much disc on that possibly. Nose angle down could have helped, but that still had some speed on it.
So Ethan lays up for the 3. Now Lucas Carmichael. Trying to figure the wind out.
Yeah, asking where's the lift when that was a pretty cheeky bid. You know, that was a long way away on a scary green to give that a bid. But I guess when you've got Ryan Monn chasing you down, you got to be aggressive. disappointing par there for Ross. But better a disappointing par than a disappointing bogey.
Indeed. Close enough to keep things interesting.
Ethan
As
with
we
it.
tap out, we know how interesting the back nine is going to be with scoring opportunities throughout, but also that diabolical finish at 17 and 18. You won't want to miss that coverage, and it is coming your way right here on the PDGA's YouTube channel. A quick look at the way things stand at the halfway mark of the final round of the 2024 PDGA United States Amateur Disc Golf Championship.